Hi, my name is Riaz Mahmood. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I work with video, photography, performance, new media, and code-based art. And I also work with traditional media like painting and sculpture. And mainly, I choose all those mediums. They are tools for me to make work or talk about the issues that I'm interested in. Today's topic is about sound and chucking sound, and I'll talk more about this software called Chuck. That's text-based software for creating music and sound. And how did I'll give you a background. How did I come to start working with Chuck? So I was doing research maybe 4 or 5 months ago on artificial intelligence. AI, and there, I think a few resources, this Chuck name was coming again and again, Chuck software for music creation. So I checked it out. But at that time, I didn't have any project in mind, and the way I work, I need a project to start working with new tool, to learn it and to implement it. So my friend Geetanjali Kolanad, she is choreographer and a writer, and we were working on a project together. It's a collaborative project, and we applied for a grant. We got a grant, and then we were just planning. And last August, we decided that it's the time that we both can work. So I went to Toronto for 2 weeks, and then they came here for 2 weeks, and we did a performance, and it's a work in progress. We developed that. I was responsible for the visual aspect of it and the interactive aspect of this performance. But when I went to Toronto, she told me that one of her friend who was supposed to be creating music for this piece, she couldn't do it for some reason. So she asked me if I would do if I could take on this responsibility and see if I can come up with that. And I jumped, I liked that idea because I wanted to work with Chuck for some time, but I didn't have time or a project. So this gave me a good reason to start working with Chuck. So I'll show you one piece, or I can show, I can install it later on. But this is. So this was, I was in Chinatown in Toronto, and it's my old neighborhood. When I used to live in Toronto, I was studying at OCAD, and Chinatown was my way going to home and also coming back. So I liked the knick-knack shops, the souvenir shops, and this time I did the same thing. So I was, because I was thinking about music, and this was my first time working for music or for sound. So I wanted to, I had no idea what kind of sound, what kind of music would I come up with, or what does she want, because it was very open. So when I was in Chinatown, in one of the shop, I found these drums for kids. So I bought them, and I thought I will maybe record them and sample them, but of course the idea changed over time. So this is one of the pieces that I did for the performance. It was installed in another room, so you couldn't see it while the performers were performing, but maybe you can see the performance so they get an idea.
Oh, okay.
So the story is, the performance is based on both of those performers. They are trained in Kalari Payat. That's an ancient martial art form from India.
Oh, I don't
You
know
hear
why
any
that
sound?
audio is.
Yeah, you have to increase the sound. Yeah, I'll increase it.
There. forward to the,
Yeah.
okay, let's go to where you turn around. Yeah. Yeah.
So the background in the video that you are seeing, it's a live feed, and it's reacting to his movement. And the music that you are hearing in the background, that's created by using the software called Chuck. And I'll show you the process just in a minute. What is Chuck? Chuck is created by Ji Wang, and he was a graduate student, and this was his project. So his background is in music, but he also liked programming. So he wanted to develop something that combines both these interests of him. And it's a programming language for real-time sound synthesis and also music creation. The best thing about Chuck is that I really like is that it's open source and free. And it's time-based, and you can do parallel programming. Means you can run two logic at the same time. It's very precise and expressive. And the other thing that I really like about this is its ability that you can add and modify code and the resulting sound or the music on the fly. So on the website at Vox Popular under the Masterclasses 2018, I have provided some resources. So you can go there and download Chuck. It's open source, it's free, and it has Mac version, Linux, and Windows. It's a very lightweight software too, so it can run on any of those platforms. So this is one. And then they have very good documentation too. So if you are new to Chuck or if you're new to programming, you can start learning through going through their documentation and their tutorial. And it's very easy in terms of creating sound because I have seen other software where you have to create a lot of code to produce some kind of sound. This gives you very immediate results. So that's a and here, this is a very good talk by Ji Wang, and where he's explaining his software and his idea of music and the future of music through programming and coding. So to start, I already have downloaded Chuck, so I will show you, and it would be good if you are following, but because of the time, and I will just show you briefly the software. So once you open the software, it comes with two windows. It will open up. One is virtual machine. That's the way Chuck software keeps track of time, its own time. And the other one is where it's called IDE, Integrated Development Environment, where you can type some code and make some sound. So to type some code, I could, let me just increase the font size. All the wave sounds, they have, in the computer, the way the computer changes the analog sound to digital sound is it samples it. So instead of a continuous sound, it samples it. So you must be aware, you must know, or you will be aware of the CD quality. It's 44.1 kilohertz. Means there are 4,410 samples per second. So what the way I designed this is I took the samples of my files and I told it to play from some random position, not from start or just some random position. I gave it some kind of parameters. And then I'm changing the frequency and also the rate. So with wave file, you can change the rate. Either you can slow it down, playing forward, or you can play it backward. You can do all sort of things, and then it changes the sound. So we can hear this.
Do you have added effects as well?
There are reverb. This one, yeah. And then I will show you the final one. And of course, you can change all those things on the fly. So if I can change a few of the parameters here, and it will start sounding a bit different. Totally, and if I change the parameters a bit more, I would completely change the composition. And it's on the fly too, so I don't have to be this could be live. So you can do all kind of stuff, and it's very easy. The software itself, it doesn't require a lot of computer resources, so even you can run it on a very old computer too. So the last thing I will leave you with is one of their example files. It's not mine. It's one of the professor, I think he's in Stanford, and he's a music professor, and this is his jazz band that he created. And it's not going to sound the same every time you play it, because there are some random things in there too. So it's always, but there are certain parameters where it will keep its tempo or its rhythm or it's those kind of stuff. But it will always change.
So it's like jazz.
Yes, it's like jazz, but in, yeah, real.
The randomness of jazz.
Yeah. So. Okay.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
one just quick question since
Sure.
it's right in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do this, you prepare it all, then can you put coding in like you would, so you use the, your camera to gather data that will influence
Yes.
this?
Yes. So it's very easy to share. It uses open sound network. That's a very old kind of language for sharing data. So you can share data from this program, and it can also read from other softwares, say like your camera. So your camera is reading from some software. That software is reading sending the data to this. So
You could like take a visual cues.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then it will kind of live
Live, it will
change
manipulate.
those, manipulate
Yes.
it.
Yes. Live.
So then, yeah, you could have a dancer.
Yeah. And you
making the
can
music.
set the frequency. For example, you can set the frequency of the dancer to the movement per frame. So if she's moving a lot, then the frequency would go higher or lower depending on what your settings are. and the sound would change. So it will match exactly. It will be like the performer is controlling the sound. In some
Performer makes the dancer makes the music,
Music,
instead
yes.
of the dancer dancing to the music.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So yeah. So that's
Do you want
about
to
it.
show this,
Yeah, sure.
this other visualization?
So and I'll show you just.
Oh, mute the audio.
Yeah. It's mute.
Okay.
What I like about Chuck is that it asks for experimentation, and I like that aspect of it. It's not like you don't have to be a musician to create some kind of noise or sound. So
Okay, so did you unmute now? Okay. Sometimes it just takes. This is where my camera died. I have my other camera. Anyway.
yeah. Okay. I'll leave you with. I'll see if this piece would work. And let's. I think it's. Do you have any questions? Good. I like that. Yes. So the main idea is that you download it, you play with it. It's very easy. It's very friendly, and a lot of help is available online.
So you saw the images on the wall where it was dancing. So that was all live. Riaz had Connect's camera shooting the dancers, and then it was projecting that image.
And like
So
live.
live. It was exactly the camera on the dancers.
Plus some effects which were on the images.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, otherwise you could just take the camera signal and bring it to a projector. But
yeah. So he. I don't know what
I was
effects.
using Touch Designer. Yeah, and there is a like the way you'll design your your whole sequence, is you can do the feedback to your video, to your live video. So it will have memory of the previous frame, always.
Yeah.
So you can play the previous frame.
Yeah.
When the current frame is playing, you can also display the previous frame. And then it
Yeah,
disappears.
so that's how you see that ghosting, kind of very cool drawing. The other thing that was really neat about this dance is, so there was two sections. So the first, where we showed the first section, and then they move over to this other area, and they're literally in the dirt, and that yellow design on the dirt is turmeric, and it has like a very strong smell. And at the beginning of the piece also, they gave out a mixture of scented oils for everyone that the dancers had. So it was like so many sensory experiences, this I think it's about a 20-minute.
Yeah, the main idea was that we wanted to work with at least three smells, three things. But in the end, because of the time and a lot of other problems, we just ended up using two. So it wasn't just the visual or the hearing. You can also smell, like different smells during the performance. Yeah.
Something's. So
So this is not working because I didn't test it.
Oh.
So there's some
Okay.
wire would be like off and something.
So was this connected to data getting from them, or in the end?
That was the original idea, that these would move, the motors would move according to the movement of the performers. So the performers, I will get the data from my camera live and process that data and send it to these machines so they can move according to the motion in the frame or the real motion that's happening. But I didn't have time, so I put it on random, but it worked. Like it was somehow the rhythm was perfectly fine with the dances. Yeah. And then there was I was telling some other people, because they asked me about the sound. There was some very menacing sound that this was producing, these motors, and it was just a happy accident. The table that was set on was a plastic table, so the motors, I think it's somewhere here, or the vibration of the motor, because the motors would move too, and it will have this grinding kind of menacing sound. So even, so it was it was an happy accident. I wasn't looking for that, but it gave it more richness to the sound. So be open to accidents, happy accidents. Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Freaky.
I think that's it.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.